In episode 1, Naomi and Ruth start their journey from Moab to Bethlehem. They talked and talked, and the next thing they knew, they had arrived in Bethlehem. Yes, Naomi is tired, worn out, and feeling like life just body slammed her. But Ruth, she's standing strong, ready to face whatever's next. Bethlehem busy crowded street has markets full of fresh fruit, kids running around, and women carrying jars of water. But as Naomi and Ruth arrived, people were kind of staring. Naomi said, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. The Lord has made my life bitter." But Ruth is keeping the faith and says, "We'll make it through. I trust God." Have y'all ever felt like Naomi? Like life hits so hard you don't feel like you anymore? That's her vibe right now. But Ruth? Ruth is like that one friend who never gives up on you, even when you're at rock bottom. Now here's where things get wild. Ruth doesn't just sit around waiting for a blessing. Ruth decides to go out and get her hustle on. The sun is shining and beaming hard. She sees some workers picking grain in a field, and Ruth gets out there grinding too, literally picking up scraps of barley to feed Naomi and herself. And guess who owns the field? Boaz. Boaz goes to the field, tall, strong, dark-skinned with wavy black hair. He's got leadership energy, respect from his workers, and most importantly, a heart for God. Boaz, noticing Ruth, he's impressed. "Who's that? She works hard." The worker says, "That's Ruth, the Moabite woman. She's been here all day, barely took a break." Listen, Boaz doesn't just see a random girl working, he sees her character. She's loyal, hardworking, and strong. And that catches his attention. Boaz walks up to Ruth, gives her a basket full of grain, and tells his workers to let her pick as much grain as she needs. Ruth, shocked yet humble. "Why are you being so kind to me?" Boaz says, "Because I heard about you. I know how loyal you've been to Naomi, and trust me, God sees it too." Let's pause real quick. Boaz said, "I see you." Have you ever felt like nobody noticed your hard work? Like you're just out here doing your best, but nobody cares? Nah, God sees you even when others don't. And the right people, they'll see you too. Ruth runs home to share the good news with Naomi. While eating, Naomi suddenly looks up, a spark in her eye. "Ruth, Boaz is one of our family redeemers." Ruth says, "Okay, and that means—" Naomi smirked. "That means he can marry you." Hold up. Naomi just flipped the script. She's out here playing matchmaker, and honestly, she's got a solid plan. Naomi tells Ruth to go to Boaz at night when he's asleep by the grain pile. Weird, but it was their custom. Ruth said, "Wait, you want me to just pull up at his feet?" Naomi said, "Trust me, just do it." Ruth? As always, she obeys because she trusts Naomi and God's plan. The next phase. The proposal. Kinda. It's nighttime. The stars are shining over the field. Ruth quietly stays at Boaz's feet. He wakes up and sees Ruth and smiles. Boaz is like, Ruth? What are you doing here?" Ruth, brave and sincere, says, "You are my family redeemer. Take me under your protection." Translation? Ruth is basically saying, "I see you, you see me, let's make this happen under God's plan." Boaz smiling, "You could have chased after younger men, but you followed God's way, that's beautiful." And just like that, Boaz promises to do things the right way. He won't just take Ruth, he'll go through the process to marry her properly. They talked all night long. God's perfect plan is happening. Finally, the grand wedding celebration. People are celebrating and laughing. Ruth is in a stunning dress, and Boaz looks like a king. So guess what? Boaz marries Ruth. They walked away hand in hand, ready to start their life together. She goes from a widow in a foreign land to the wife of a respected, God-fearing man. And it doesn't stop there. Ruth and Boaz have a strong, amazing son named Obed. Naomi is so happy as she holds her precious grandbaby Obed. Naomi's eyes are on Obed and filled with gratitude. The mind-blowing fact is, Obed becomes the grandfather of King David. And through his bloodline, Jesus is born. Did y'all catch that? Ruth's faithfulness, loyalty, and hard work literally put her in the family line of Jesus Christ. Talk about God orchestrated his plan. So what's the takeaway? Ruth had every reason to give up. She lost her husband, left her home, and had nothing. But she stayed loyal, stayed faithful, and trusted God even when she didn't see the bigger picture. And look at what happened. The lesson for you: keep doing the right thing even when no one's watching. God sees you. Loyalty, faith, and obedience will always bring blessings. Your story isn't over. God's plan is bigger than your current struggle. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Little Disciples Learning Hub.